the 61st verse, and throughout these section of verses, he has been saying, Tad Brahmet Yavadhare, realize that to be Brahman, by whose light the sun, etc., are illumined, but by which is not illumined by those luminaries, and that by which all this is illumined. So what he's only trying to tell here is that the Brahman, the consciousness or the reality, is that which lends its luster, it gives light to the very sun itself. It is that which gives light to the sun, but the sun which illumines everything cannot illumine that which is illumining it. So it just tells the true grandeur of what the Brahman is. So sunlight can't illumine the consciousness, but it is a consciousness that illumines the sun. Not just the sun, any other luminary. Now, all what we need to understand is consciousness is that life-giving principle. It lends life to every object and being. Brahman is that enlivening principle. It is that consciousness. It is that life-giving principle. It animates everything. Animate means it gives life. It's like a puppeteer who gives life to those lifeless puppets. He is that lifeline behind those puppets. The kids get excited seeing that puppet show, how these dolls are performing and how they are acting, but they don't realize the mysterious hand behind this curtain, which is playing the play of the fingers that makes all these dead puppets. It animates them, So the life-giving principle is the consciousness. It is the Atman. It gives life to these. It animates these elements. But that which it animates, which is it makes your body to perceive, it makes your mind to feel, it makes your intellect to conceive, but the intellect cannot conceive the Atman, nor the mind can feel the Atman, nor the equipment, the body cannot perceive the Atman. So it illumines it, but it can't illumine the very Atman or the consciousness which illumines it. Now, this may be a straightforward argument, but the concept which always baffles me, and it continues to, because it's so profound. What is the concept is that even though Atman is the life-giving principle, Atman itself has no life in it. It may come out as a baffling statement to some of you. The statement I'm making is Atman is that life-giving principle, but there is no life inherent in Atman. But when you need an expression of life, you need a certain combination. Vijay Raghavanji, are you following, sir? No, you might know little more than
something. Sorry, something incomprehensible cannot have given an attribute like life.
That is one way of looking at it, that you can't use the terms because it's inexpressible, isn't it? But the statement I'm saying, if you carefully decode it, what I'm saying is Atman is the life-giving principle, and there is no life inherent in Atman. And life is an expression of a combination of two factors. I repeat the statement and the question. Atman is that life-giving principle, but there is no life inherent in Atman. And there is an expression of life only when there is a combination of two factors. What is that combination of two factors? Vijayji, you may know little more than me.
No.
You know why I say you know little more than me? You know, just for the benefit of everybody, in what context I'm saying. He is not, he's done with such sincerity. You know, other day I get an email from him of, he's written 5-6 lines or 7-8 lines on the essence of each lecture I've given, which has been uploaded, not be every lecture, but short videos or nuggets as we call. There are how many, Vijayaraghavanji, over 150 videos?
143.
There you go. 143 videos are there on YouTube. He heard each video and he took notes and he wrote a digest of it and he sent to me. I instantly told my prostrations to your efforts. I don't think I would have done for my guru itself, you know.
Guruji, so, I just wanted to listen to them, and then in the bargain, I also took notes. That's about all.
No, it's your humility to the effort, but it's such an effort. So in that context, I say, you know, he has heard it all. To a large extent, he would know the answer. That's why I went to Vijayaraghavanji. Not that I'm testing you, sir, but it's something very, very fabulous. Any thoughts? What are the two factors that combine to bring about life? Because there is no life inherent in Atman, but Atman is the life-giving principle. So this is where the whole examination is. You know, why we're trying to understand what is that which is missing. You know, yet we say it is that which gives light to the sun. It has so much in it to lend its brilliance. It animates everything, but yet it is the animating principle. It animates anything, yet it by itself cannot animate. I don't know if I'm using the right English language here. Sometimes, you know, language breaks. Padmini, she was very keen to share.
What came to my mind was the first sloka of Saundarya Lehari, where it says, Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yadi Bhavati Shakta Prabhavidam Na Chet Evam Na Khalu Kushala Spandidam Abhi. Without back. I know that's what came to my mind.
Hello. Can you go a little slowly of that sloka?
Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yadi Bhavati Shakta Prabhavidam Na Chet Evam Na Khalu Kushala Spandidam Abhi.
Now, what does it mean?
Without Shakti, that Shiva has no. What is that? Shiva cannot do anything. Both have to be there. The life has to. I mean, the life-giving force has to express through a medium.
Okay. All right. It is a very beautiful song, though. I always, to be frank with you, is one of those songs when I hear, almost tears start rolling down my eyes. You know? It's something so touching. You know, I know some of them have sung it so beautifully, and Ilayaraja is one who have sung it so beautifully. I must say, I don't know whether we have that collection with us, Harishi. Do we have the collection? Can we play that for what it's worth? I hope you all will not mind. Can I have a thumbs up from you all? Is it great? By the time Harishi gets hold of that song, you know, maybe I could hear from Vijayji. He wanted to comment something further. Yes, sir, please.
I only felt, you know, it was such an act, you know, description to say that, you know, Brahman needs a medium to express. Indeed,
yes, that's what it is, isn't it? Otherwise, it has no life in it. In fact, you know, sir, if Brahman is said to be all-pervading, sarvatra, isn't it? Brahman is everywhere, but we don't see every object expressing in life, isn't it? There is no expression of life in inert objects. Am I right? Then why is it that, do we say that God is not there on this table or the chair I'm seated? Yes, God is very much there in every ounce, every particle. But then why is there no expression of life? Badriji.
I think we cannot speak of life without speaking of death. So life and death are two sides of the same coin. And if we start attributing life to Brahman, then we also have to attribute death. And speaking of death of Brahman is meaningless if it is the only thing that exists. Therefore, we cannot talk about life of Brahman. At the same time, it enables everything, and therefore it is life-giving. But it itself is not subject to it cannot be extinguished, and therefore it cannot come into, it doesn't have the attributes of life, because from our experience, whether it's living matter or inert matter, everything dies. Stars also die, everything dies. So therefore Brahman cannot have the attribute of life, is what I think.
Interesting argument, but if I could bring you to the statement I made, there is a combination of two to bring about life. Did we not say that, sir?
Yeah.
There are two factors which are essential in order to create life. One is obviously the living principle. And what is the other? And again, just a little while earlier, I just said, Brahman is everywhere, but there is no life manifesting everywhere, because inert objects are dead. There's no life in them. But Atman is very much there, isn't it? So if you may have to think in those lines. Okay, Badriji? All right?
Yes.
Yeah, J.B. Rao Garu? Sorry, Badriji. Yeah, okay.
Namaskar. Jai Gurudev.
Namaskar. Namaskar. Namaskar.
See, all the five senses are there. The eyes are there, but they can't see. Taste is there. Tongue is there, but they don't have taste. There's something which, unless the Brahman connection is there, we will not able to see, we are not able to hear, we are not able to taste, we are not able to smell, we are not able to touch. This is all that is, even though the all instruments are there, unless the Brahman, that is like a sun cannot shine itself, it is to be, that is the Brahman. The body is required. Without body, you cannot, this Atman, you can't give any expression, or that is the life which may not be.
Correct. It needs a medium, it needs an equipment, it needs a body.
Right.
You're right. So very true, sir. Absolutely right. So what is the equation which brings about life is spirit and matter. So the spirit is nothing but as the consciousness, and matter, as you say, is constitutes, here the matter constitutes of gross matter and subtle matter. So gross matter is the physical body, subtle matter is the mind and the intellect. It is the subtle element. So what brings about life is when there is Atman, which is the life-giving principle. There is the matter, gross matter, and subtle matter, which is the mind and the intellect. Plus, you may say the causal matter, or subtle matter, and the causal body, which is the vasanas. So vasanas along with the subtle matter plus the body plus the Atman gives about life. I hope you are getting the equation. The equation for life is Atman plus gross matter plus subtle matter. The subtle matter which constitutes of the mind and intellect and the vasanas. So subtle matter, the mind and intellect and the vasanas plus the gross matter, which is the gross body, combine with Atman, which brings about an expression of life. And Kamlesh, if I can ask you, what is it that is missing in the gross matter?
Well, you have raised a very important question, which can be approached from many angles, many dimensions, right? And time transcendence is another factor I want to share with everyone. That is very, very important. That word, time transcendence, and also place transcendent, deshkal, outside of space and time bound. So karmabadha and kalabadha, it's outside these two bandhanas, and that which is in bandhana is what we are calling life in a way. That which is kalabadha and karmabadha. That's how I will approach this one, but there's no one correct answer.
Yes. Now, just going with the thought which we have just, the line of thought, as you said, there's many possibilities of looking at it. The question I had earlier said is that there is Atman present in the gross matter, which is the inert matter around us. There is Atman there because Atman is sarvatra, is everywhere, but there is no life in it. So in the equation of life, we said life equals Atman plus gross matter plus subtle matter, isn't it, sir?
Yeah.
Now, my question is, what is it that is absent in inert matter? Including a dead body. A dead body also is a piece of wood or stone, isn't it? It is lifeless. There's no life in it. But Atman is there. So what is it that is missing?
Well, maybe Bhutatma and Jivatma. So Bhutatma is
Kamlesh, if I could request to just with the factors I've given you, sir. I've given you the factors of Atman, subtle body, causal body. Isn't it?
So what is missing is prana.
What is prana?
That life force.
So if prana is missing, then we will say there is a pockets of vacuum where the Atman is not there, which is not true. Atman is everywhere. The truth is all pervading. Isn't
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
See, Atman is all pervading. God is everywhere. That's what we have told. So if God is everywhere, there are certain places where, see, where does life express? Life expressed in the plant kingdom. You want to know how life expressed in the plant kingdom? Come to Pragati Resorts. You will be amazed at the kind of the flora and the fauna and how rich and how diverse and how the endangered plant kingdom is thriving here. It's just baffling. So the plant kingdom, there is life. The animal kingdom, there is life. The human kingdom, there's life, isn't it? There's no life in inert matter. So Atman is everywhere, but certain expression, it's not happening.
So consciousness missing. Consciousness is missing, maybe.
No. So Atman, consciousness, the life-giving element, the animating principle, they're all one and the same. They're different terms to mean the same thing. All right, Ji?
Yeah.
All right, so think along, sir, please think along. Good interacting. Yes, Tinky Ma. I know she will have the answer in her fingertips. I know.
No, Hari Om Guruji. So
Yes, ma'am.
the subtle matter will not be there, mind and intellect, and the vasanas in objects.
Correct. The subtle matter is missing in the equation. So when the subtle matter and the vasanas are absent in inert matter, there is no life there. So what we were trying to establish here is the Atman by itself is lifeless. It's like electricity enlivens the bulb, gives light, but electricity by itself has no light in it. But when electricity contacts the bulb, there is light. So it needs that matter for expression of light. It could be a scintillating expression, but it needs the matter, which is the bulb, and the electricity. Electricity is just that life-giving element. Without that, the bulb is just a mere matter. It has no life in it. So this analysis, something is very, very baffling. So you just know what that Atman is. And that is what the 61st verse tried to say. It enlivens the sun, but it is not illumined by the sun. So it is that life-giving principle, but it can't be fathomed by that which illumines. That was a point, and we just took a slightly different angle. Harish, do we have that song before we could move on? Perfect. Yes, please. Could you play the song for us? Sir? I think you just maybe just play it for a first 30 seconds or a minute or so. That would really be wonderful, sir.
Guruji, I will try. I hope it works out well.
Please, no problem. I know we are all remotely doing it. We'll give it our best shot.
शिवशक्त्या युक्तो यदि भवति शक्तप्रभवितुम् न चेदेवं देवो न खलु कुशलः स्पन्दितुमपि अतस्त्वाम् आराध्याम् हरिहर विरिञ्चादिभिरवि प्रणन्तुं स्तोतुं वा कथमकृतपुण्यः प्रभवति
Thank you, Harish. Truly, I tell you, it is, I don't know, it's something very, very, very touching, you know. So glad you could present that section. All right.
Guruji,
Sorry, Harishi.
Sorry, Guruji. But we also have a song called Janani Janani by Ilayaraja, where the first stanza is sung first.
Yes. Yeah, and thank you, Ji.
The next class, we will play that.
Perfect, right. As our songs before the sessions. Yes, thank you, Ji. Yeah, Tinkima, please.
I was just trying to clarify this bulb and electricity, which you said that neither expresses without the other. So like that also, Atman cannot express without the matter.
Yes.
And the matter cannot express means see, speak, hear, think, do anything without the Atman, which means they are both interdependent. Can we say that or no?
No, not interdependent. In fact, the next 2-3 verses is going to clarify that.
Okay.
From the standpoint of Brahman, we're going to see what is the stand of matter. He says everything is illusion. What are you talking? So no, there's no question of Atman is dependent on matter.
In
It
the
is
sense
just
only for expression. Without matter, how does it express? That's what I meant, not anything else. You said, no, it needs something to express. It needs a body. It needs something to manifest. Only from that aspect.
see, I'm very uncomfortable to say that Atman is dependent on matter. Therefore, I'm
Yes.
innately
Correct.
in tune to take an absolute standpoint and say matter is illusion. You know?
Right.
So what are you talking about? The Brahman needing the matter or dependent on it. Therefore, it doesn't really, the language doesn't gel. Therefore, the hesitancy.
That's
Okay.
what. Correct.
All right. Okay. Right.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yes, ma'am.